I think the fraud in the election goes much farther than just the president. I think they did it to John James. I think they did it to Leon Benjamin. I think they did it to any particularly strong Republican candidate this time around. We've got data from 2016 out of California that shows that Hillary Clinton did it to Bernie Sanders there. And then when people told him about it, instead of exposing it,
Oof. Never pass up a chance to burn Bernie Sanders. Okay, I like it. You heard the woman. Sidney Powell, if what she says is true, the election fraud is a lot deeper than just the presidency. But is it true? She really seems to think so. Will she show us evidence? Let's get into it. Earlier this week, Tucker Carlson had a segment about Sidney Powell, the president's lawyer. He went in on her for making outlandish claims but not backing it up with any evidence. He also went in on her for not showing him evidence when he asked and for not coming on the show when he asked. So is any of this true? I don't know. But Sidney Powell went to Fox yesterday and gave her side of the story. Also, she said that she gave Tucker evidence and that he was extremely rude to her.
Tucker Carlson said that he had invited you on his show to share evidence of the software flipping votes, and he said you got angry and refused to provide evidence for your claims of voting software flipping votes. How do you respond to Tucker Carlson? Did you get angry with the show because they texted you and asked you to please provide evidence of what you're alleging?
No, I didn't get angry with the request to provide evidence. In fact, I sent an affidavit to Tucker that I had not even attached to a pleading yet to help him understand the situation. And I offered him another witness who could explain the mathematics and statistical evidence far better than I can. I'm not really a numbers person. But he was very insulting, demanding, and rude, and I told him not to contact me again in those terms.
On this show, when I refer to Tucker, I call him a gentleman and a scholar. Does this mean that he can't be rude? No, of course not. I know that he can, in fact, be rude. All you have to do is go on YouTube and type in, "You can't cuck the tuck." And you'll get a plethora of videos of Tucker Carlson destroying his guests, but being a little rude in the process. Would you like a little taste? Here you go.
Ask you one quick question. I mean, this is obviously a pointless conversation, and I think less of you after. I have to say, it's an honest question. Have you thought about
political support?
So you're totally cool with Heidi being intimidated. That doesn't bother you because it serves your purposes politically.
I do. Again,
yes, you're totally for it. You're making excuses for it.
I do not encourage anyone to engage in this kind of behavior.
You know what? Those are weasel words. Yes,
no,
you
it's not,
are.
It's not.
He should be tough enough, and it's his fault his wife got screamed at. I'm going to save this tape. When you get to be an adult, you'll be embarrassed of this.
By this president and this administration of bullying and harassment,
you shouldn't be
surprised that things like this end up happening, frankly. Culture starts at the top.
It's Trump's fault. Okay. Where were you educated? Really quick. Where'd you go to college? Just so I know not to say
I'm a proud graduate.
Is Tucker lying? Is Sidney lying? Who knows? But Tucker got a lot of backlash for his segment. But yesterday, he had a response.
Well, last night, in a segment about voter fraud and investigations into it, we told you about Sidney Powell, the former federal prosecutor, and her claim that roughly 7 million votes were secretly changed on election night by rigged vote-counting software. Well, in the last 24 hours since we did that, we've heard from a lot of people about that segment, including people in the White House and people close to the president. Like us, they have concluded that this election was not fair. Like us, they are willing to believe any explanation for what happened. Like us, they have not seen a single piece of evidence showing that software changed votes. Doesn't mean it didn't happen. It might have happened. It means they haven't seen any evidence that it happened. And by they, we are including other members of Donald Trump's own legal team. They have not seen Powell's evidence either. No testimony from employees inside the software companies, no damning internal documents, no copies of the software itself. So that's where we are. Sidney Powell came on Fox this morning and suggested we may not have to wait much longer. I fully expect, she says, that we will be able to prove all of it in a court within the next 2 weeks. Well, as far as we're concerned, that is great news. If Sidney Powell can prove the technology companies switched millions of votes and stole a presidential election, she will have almost single-handedly uncovered the greatest crime in the history of this country And no one will be more grateful for that than us.
But enough with the drama. The question still remains. Was there fraud or not? Did the Dominion voting system really turn millions of Trump votes to Biden votes? I would love to see evidence, and Powell said that we will see it within the next 2 weeks. Who knows? But we do know this. Dominion voting system officials were supposed to meet with Pennsylvania officials yesterday to discuss what happened in the election. At the last minute, the officials backed out and lawyered up. Why? That's sketchy, isn't it? I mean, it's always a good idea to lawyer up. And I'm going to be a lawyer in a couple months, so get at me. But back to the story. It's always a good idea to lawyer up. The question is, why did they agree to it and then back out and then get a lawyer? Why didn't have a lawyer from the beginning? Ain't that sketchy? Comment your opinion down below. Powell is alleging that about 10 million fraudulent votes went for Biden. She claims that this will be evidenced next week when she files several federal lawsuits in several different states.
No, these are going to be federal court lawsuits. These are issues of federal question, jurisdiction, and they're paramount to the very life, any future life of our republic.
And what is you've said that you think that millions of votes were removed from the president's vote totals. How many million votes do you think were removed for the president of the United States that he got on November 3rd?
Well, my pure estimate at this time is roughly 7 million, but it might be more. We're also getting some data that reflects that millions, not just a few hundred or thousands, but some millions of dead people voted, which would have been, well, any of that actually each instance of that is a federal crime, a federal felony. But I think we're going to find a significant conspiracy to do that. We've also got evidence of people being paid, and we've got pictures of the check stubs paid to people to ballot harvest and do fraudulent voting. So this year was every means and manner of fraud you can possibly imagine, and many that you could never imagine.
So how many fraudulent votes do you think that Joe Biden had on his side of the slate?
Probably at least 10 million.
What I don't understand is this. If there's evidence of sketchy things and shenanigans going on, where's the FBI? Why aren't they investigating anything? Or maybe they actually are and they're keeping it quiet. Who knows? But I don't know what's going to happen. Either of these men could end up in the presidency come January 20th. Is it 50-50? No, I'm not saying that. But Trump is Trump. So you can't rule him out until the race is over. The man is known for pulling miracles out of his ass. Maybe he gets to it in the courts. Maybe he blocks certification and then gets a win by the House of Representatives. Who knows? There's still a chance the race ain't over. What do you think will happen? Comment your opinion down below. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe. See you next time.